So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to show you something that I've been working on for quite some time now, and that is a build for Nidus. Now it took me a little bit longer than it usually does when a new Warframe comes out, but Nidus is pretty unique, so I've tried a lot of different stuff. Now it's a 4 Forma build where I've changed the V in the aura slot into a D, and I've added a D, a V, and a dash. And I know I'm probably gonna get crap for using a D polarity in the aura slot because the community just doesn't like it for whatever reason, but I've changed it into a D so I can run Stand United, and I've combined it with Coaction Drift. This gives Nidus quite a nice armor boost, and when you combine the total armor you get with this setup with the healing you get from Ravenous and the damage reduction you get from Parasitic Link, you'll be pretty much invulnerable up until the enemies hit sort of level 120. Then I'm running Primed Continuity, which gives me more duration on Larva, Link, and Ravenous, and it's also used to offset Transient Fortitude, which I've combined with Intensify, which gives me 200% power strength. Now with this much power strength, Virulence is going to do a monstrous amount of damage at 100 stacks. On top of that, the maggots you get with Ravenous are going to explode for a decent amount of damage as well, but most importantly, it caps out your Parasitic Link, so if you link yourself to an enemy, you'll be mitigating 90% of all damage done to you. Now one thing you can do if you want to be even tankier is you can swap Intensify for Vigor and eventually Primed Vigor once we get it in about 20 days I think from now, but the health bonus you get from Vigor isn't that big. Then to give me more health I'm using Vitality. This is pretty important for obvious reasons, and I combined it with Steel Fiber and Armored Agility, which gives me a ton of armor as well as a little bit of movement speed, which is pretty nice as well. Now to sustain my energy I'm using Rage and the Energy Overflow passive from the Zenuric Focus School. Now Rage isn't very effective before the enemies hit sort of level 40 or 50 because you have a ton of armor with this setup, so the enemies don't really do a lot of damage to you. But once the enemies crawl over level 50, the enemies are going to start doing a hell of a lot more damage, Rage is going to kick in, and it's going to basically give you infinite energy. And finally, I'm using Stretch, which benefits every single ability. It gives me more range on Virulence, more range on Larva, more range on Parasitic Link, and it increases the radius of the maggot explosion you get with Ravenous. Now, I really only play Nidus in endless missions because in non-endless stuff, you can't really stack your mutation and you can't really take full advantage of his toolkit. But don't get me wrong, Nidus is absolutely fine in non-endless stuff as well. Now, as I've played Nidus more and more, I've developed a strategy that evolves as the endless mission goes on. So when I start off, in the beginning, as you can see, minute 5, I just run around and I use Virulence. That's pretty much it. If there is a big group of enemies and I have enough energy to do a Larva Virulence combo, I will do that. But most of the time, for the first 10 to 15 minutes, I just run around and I stack my mutation with Virulence. After 10 to 15 minutes, once the bigger units get added into the mix, which for Grenier would be Heavy Gunners, Scorches, Napalms, and Bombards, I slowly start using Parasitic Link. And if for whatever reason I get chunked down a little bit too much, I will use Ravenous to heal back up. Versus the Grenier, Corpus, and Corrupted, I aim to get 100 stacks before the 20-minute mark. Versus the Infested, it can be done a lot faster because you can line them up, so you can get it in about 10 minutes. But as I've said already, versus the other 3 factions, 20 minutes is the sweet spot for me. And finally, once the enemies roll over level 70, I basically just have Link active at all times, and I have Ravenous down as well. This way, I redirect most of the damage I take to my Link target, and the little bit of damage that I do take is immediately healed up by Ravenous. And this is where it becomes a lot of fun, because at this point you have pretty much infinite energy. The enemies start doing a lot of damage, and even though you are redirecting it to your Link target, Rage still gives you the energy as if all the damage was taken by you. And this is the time where I bust out the Wombo combo, so I simply link myself to a target, put Ravenous on top of that target, throw a Larva near him, strip away the enemy armor with something like the Pox, and then I hit them with Virulence, which is gonna hit them with 2 sets of spikes because my linked target is standing right next to them. It is a little bit of work to pull off the entire combo, but in return the damage you get from it is absolutely disgusting. And you can do this until the enemy damage just goes so high that not even the 90% damage reduction from Parasitic Link combined with ridiculously high armor, high health, and high health regen is enough. Though that will take a while, especially if you're using this setup which just has max armor and ridiculous health and health regen. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you try this setup out. It is incredibly powerful when played well, and if it's a little bit too expensive for you, you don't have to change the V in the aura into a D. You can just run Steel Charge in there, and if you don't have Prime Continuity, just use the regular one. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!